Hi everyone, Mike here from Bikes by Mike with another cycling related video. I'm back upstairs to do a product review on the Kask Valegro helmet. I will tell you what I like and don't like about it and tell you where I think it ranks among the Kask line of helmets. Okay, let's get to it. The Kask Valegro helmet first made its appearance in the 2017 Tour de France. It was developed in cooperation with Team Ineos to offer the best comfort ventilation when climbing or riding in hot conditions. It is also one of Kask's lightest helmet to date. More on that later. While it surpasses all other Kask helmets in terms of ventilation, it gives up a bit of performance when it comes to aerodynamics. The Protone Icon, the Wasabi, and the Kask Utopia all rate higher in terms of aerodynamics than the climbing-focused Valegro. So now that we know what type of rider and what conditions the Valegro was designed for, let's see how it measures up when looking specifically at its design, construction, and overall performance. But let me first say that I'm a bit biased towards Kask helmets. My last 4 helmets have all been Kask helmets, so it goes without saying that I really like what this company produces. That said, before I started using Kask helmets about 10 years ago, I tried out many other top-end brands, so I do have some experience with other makes and models of helmets. Now, bike helmets, like saddles, are very personal to the rider as everyone has their own preferences and everyone's body type is shaped a bit differently. So just because I like or dislike a helmet doesn't mean your experience will be the same as mine. While this review should be helpful to those riders who have yet to try a Kask helmet, it probably will be most useful for those riders that have previously owned a Kask helmet and are familiar with the specific type of fit common with Kask. Okay, now that's out of the way, let's get on with my review. I'll rate the helmet based on the 6 criteria I think are most important when shopping for a good helmet. They are price, weight, comfort, fit and adjustability, ventilation, aerodynamics, and lastly, sunglass storage. Yep, that last one is really important. At the end, I will summarize my review in a chart and provide my overall recommendation for the helmet. So the first thing I'll mention, which is important to a lot of people, is the price. The Valegro retails for $349 Canadian. If you're someone looking for a top-end helmet, then this one is priced competitively with similar quality helmets on the market today. And the Valegro is $50 cheaper than Kask's all-around aero helmet, the Protone Icon. I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars for price. Next, let's look at weight. I measured the actual weight of a size medium Valegro at 247 grams. That threw me off as the size small is advertised at only 180 grams. I measured it again on a different scale, and again it came out to 247 grams, much higher than I expected. As a comparison, I weighed my identically sized Protone at 266 grams and my Kask Mojito and Vertigo both at 282 grams. But Kask has reduced the weight of their Protone Icon, which weighs in at a stealth 230 grams for size medium, so even lighter than the Valegro. Go figure. Huh? I find comparing helmet weights between brands isn't all that useful as the sizing is not consistent. And size is important because there will be a significant weight difference between a size medium and a size large helmet. Having said that, I'll mention the claimed weight of 2 other popular lightweight helmets. The Laser G1 Genesis has a claimed weight of 205 grams and the Giro Helios Spherical at 260 grams. But if a helmet weighs anything less than 250 grams, I say it'll feel like you have nothing on your head. So saving 10 or 20 grams here or there really won't be noticed. I'll give the Valegro 4 out of 5 stars for weight. Now we'll look at comfort, fit, and adjustability. This is where I think the Kask helmets beat out most of the competitors hands down. And it all comes down to their proprietary OctoFit adjustment system, which uses 8 planes of adjustment to fit any shape of head. I find that this helmet tech, used in pretty much all the Kask helmets, secures your head really well by providing even pressure around the full circumference of your head, which avoids pressure points. And you get about 2 inches of up and down and back and forth adjustability, which is big. By comparison, many other helmet brands rely too much on the molded shape of the inner helmet for fit, which means that unless your head just happens to be the same shape of the mold that was used to create it, which is unlikely, the helmet won't fit perfectly. This is the reason I switched to Kask helmets in the first place. Their fit is superior to all other brands I've tested. There has been some criticism that the Valegro isn't as comfortable as some of Kask's other helmets, most notably the Protone Icon. I agree that the minimalist helmet design with minimalist padding does increase the chance you'll experience pressure points, but I didn't find this to be the case. It does feel different to the Protone when I put it on my head, but I don't feel increased pressure. Maybe that's because the helmet is too light to notice the smaller contact points. Or maybe it's because the latest edition of the Valegro has an additional piece of padding at the front of the helmet where the previous version did not. Either way, the helmet has a nice, light, minimalist feel to it. I give it 5 out of 5 stars for comfort, fit, and adjustability. Next is ventilation. This is also where the Valegro really excels. The Valegro was designed specifically with weight and ventilation in mind, so it is no surprise that it provides superior ventilation to all other Kask helmets. The helmet is designed with 37 cooling vents, which really does move air around your head well to keep it cool. While I don't find that the Kask Protone performs poorly on hot days, the Valegro is noticeably cooler. 5 out of 5 stars for ventilation. Since I don't have my own wind tunnel to do aero testing, I can only rate the aerodynamic performance of the Valegro based on the stated claims. And by Kask's own admission, the Valegro does not perform as aerodynamically well as their Protone Icon, Wasabi, or Utopia helmets. And looking at its design, one can see how it's not optimized for aerodynamics. Now this helmet is targeted at climbers riding in hot weather, so aerodynamics is not as important as if it were designed as an all-rounder or a time trial helmet. No helmet will be perfect at everything. There will always be a compromise. I will give it an average 3 out of 5 rating for aerodynamics. One of the most important features for most cyclists is the ability to easily store your sunglasses on your helmet when not wearing them. This feature is sometimes called a sunglasses bay or eyewear garage. Basically, it's just a way in which you can secure the arms of your sunglasses through the front vents of your helmet. If this isn't designed well, it can be really frustrating, particularly if you're trying to take off your sunglasses while suffering on a climb. As the Valegro has more vents than most helmets, the downside to this is that it also means that the spaces between vents is narrower than what you'd find on most other helmets. And while I did find that the vents fit my Oakley sunglasses snugly and in the right position, it did take me a bit of practice to place them there easily. By comparison, it's a bit easier to find the proper vent holes on the Kask Protone, mainly because the space between the vents is wider. I'll give it a good 4 out of 5 stars for sunglass storage, as it doesn't take too long to get used to where the vent holes are positioned. Just a little bit of practice required. So here now is a summary of how the Valegro performs across all 6 evaluative criteria. I gave it an exceptional rating for comfort, fit, and adjustability, and ventilation. These are the 2 areas where the Valegro really excels. I gave it a very good rating for price, weight, and its ability to store sunglasses easily. And the only average rating I gave it was for aerodynamics, where better options are available within the Kask line, as well as among other bike helmet manufacturers. Overall, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Not a perfect helmet, but a very good one that I'm happy using. But I'm still not sure whether I prefer this helmet to the Kask Protone Icon, especially now that I know that the weight of the Protone has been brought down quite considerably and actually weighs less than the Valegro. I'll have to test out the Valegro over several really hot days to see whether its cooling properties outweigh the slight aerodynamic penalty. And that concludes my review of the Kask Valegro helmet. If you have any questions or comments, please pass them along. That's all I got for today, folks. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe, as it will allow me to produce more content for all of you. See you next time. Happy rolling.